Om Dakshinasya Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Smarya Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaran Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Parignanashrama Shri Guru Shankara Parignanashrama Shankara Satguru Keshava Vamana Krishna Panduranga आनंद परिज्ञान गुरु सत्योजात शंकर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वेदान्तडिण्डिमास्तत्त्वम् एकम् उद्घोषयन्ति यत् आस्तां पुरस्तात् तत्तेजः दक्षिणामूर्तिसन्नितम्। Now, after having divided the whole universe into different sets of twos like Atma, Anatma, Jnata, Jneyam, Sukham, Dukkham, etc., different sets of twos, where I said the purpose of the Acharya is to divide the threesome universe. That is, there are so many things. There is me, I, the Jiva, then there are other Jivas, and then there is a Jagat which I have to really deal with. And so, what the Acharya wants to do is that he wants to divide the entire Jagat, which is a threefold Jagat, into a twofold Atma and Anatma. That which is the subject Atma and that which is the object, which is Anatma. And he said that Atma is the only thing which is worth listening to, which is worth ruminating upon, that which is worth contemplating upon. And ultimately, knowing this Atma as Brahman, Aham Ayam Atma Brahma, or Brahma Aham Brahmasmi iti, knowing this very clearly, this knowledge is the one which releases me from all my bondage. And therefore, we are now in the 13th verse, which we took up, we just got ourselves introduced to in the last session. And what does he say? What does this 13th verse say? Asatyah sarva samsaraha rasabhasadidushyitah upekshyo brahma vigneyam iti vedantadindimah. So, sarva samsaraha is upekshaha. That means all this world that we are transacting with, it's not worth taking it too seriously. Upekshaha. It doesn't mean negating it, doesn't mean that denying it. No. It doesn't mean that the world does not exist. It only means it does not really require all the attention and entanglement at present, which we are having at present with it. Because the entire world is something which is namarupatmakam, though the whole universe is this Atman. That consciousness and existence behind this entire universe is nothing but that consciousness, Atma Brahman. As long as I look at the world as a set of objects, as a set of names and forms, and as long as I take the names and forms seriously, there is only an entanglement. What Vedanta says is, Anatma The world of names and forms is mithya. And for mithya, the word asat is used. I explained last time. Asat does not mean that which is not there. It doesn't mean it does not exist. It only means it as though exists. It is an experiential reality. It is there for my experience, but really speaking, it is not there. I gave you an example of a dream. I gave you the example of sunrise, sunset. I gave you the example of a flat earth. What do all these suggest? All this suggests that there is something which is experienced as the world outside. But what is this experience, Jagat? It is nothing but names and forms centered on the Atman, on this consciousness. This Atma Brahman alone manifests itself as the myriad named and formed universe. But our problem is what? Rather than concentrating upon the content of this universe, rather than understanding the adhishthanam of this universe, which is nothing but this Brahman Atma, we are getting entangled with the name and form. We feel that a particular name and form gives me happiness. That particular name and form gives me peace. What the author wants to say here is, and what Vedanta has to say is that don't look for permanent security, peace, and happiness from the objective world outside. What is the meaning of objective world? Objective world means the names and forms. This person is going to make me happy. Now, this person or that person, my children, my grandchildren, my family members are going to make me feel secure, peaceful, and happy. It's not so, because all those people, how am I looking at them? I'm not looking at my children as Atma Swarupas. I'm looking at my children as body, mind, sense complexes, and something which is going to give me everlasting security, peace, and happiness. Oh, my children will be there to take care of me. What will I do if they are not there? What will they do if I am not there? That means what? I am attaching myself or holding on to the name and form called as my son or my daughter. But if my perspective changes by Vedanta and I understand that that son or daughter of mine is nothing but Atma Swarupaha, is nothing but that Atma, but the body mind sense complex of my son or my daughter, which is an Atma, is also false, because that body mind sense complex which I am attached to as my children, I am going to be benefited by them. When that comes, that means I am getting entangled with the anatma, body mind sense complex. When I get entangled with the body mind sense complex, with the people around me, with the names and forms of objects around me in this world, it is only going to give rise to dukkha. Because the security, the peace, and happiness that I can expect out of a particular body mind sense complex, whether it's my own children, whether it's my spouse, whether it's whoever it may be, it is not going to be permanent. It's not going to be lasting. Why? Because that body mind sense complex also has got a shelf life. All the objects in the body, I mean, in the world, sorry, which I feel are going to give me that permanent peace, security, and happiness are also having a shelf life. They're not going to be there. After some time, all of them are going to disappear. Therefore, what should I do? What he says is, asatyaha sarva samsaraha. Some people say asaraha. Asaraha means there is no sara in it. There is nothing really deep into it. It's very superficial. There's nothing deep in it. So he says, Sarva samsaraha asatyaha. Why? rasa abhasa dushitaha. There is only rasa abhasa. Rasa means the happiness. So, whatever peace, security, and happiness that I expect from the objective world is nothing but abhasa. What is the meaning of abhasa? It's only a reflection. There is only a peace, security, happiness for a short period of time. But after some time, this whole thing is going to disappear. Therefore, asatyaha samsaraha upekshyaha. It is worth not giving too much of importance to this. Don't give too much of importance to this nama rupa prapancha, because it is only abhasa. Happiness is only abhasa, and therefore don't depend on it too much. Upekshaha. Enjoy it as long as it comes, but with the awareness that this enjoyment that I am getting, this security, peace, and happiness that I am finding from a particular person or from a particular object or from a particular artha is only temporary. With this deep understanding in my mind, there's nothing wrong in enjoying the world around me. Yes, there is lot of happiness in this world. There is some amount of security in this world. Nobody can deny it. We cannot say that the Jagat is always a thing which is going to give me unhappiness. No, the Jagat is not something which is permanently going, no, not definitely. It gives me a lot of things, but it takes away a lot of things from me also. And if I depend on that, it is going to take away my peace of mind, my happiness, the strength of my mind, the health of my mind, everything is gone. Therefore, here Acharya Narasimha Saraswati says that upekshaha, asatyaha sarva samsaraha upekshaha. This mithya samsara, this mithya jagat is something that is not worth depending upon entirely. Let the world not be a crutch on which I depend for my security, peace, and happiness. Let the consciousness and existence behind this world, the very content of this world, which is the consciousness and existence, let that be what I am centered on. Let all my attention, let all my centering be abiding in that content, consciousness of this entire Jagat. That existence, consciousness, Brahman, as the very substance of this Jagat. Let me concentrate, let me abide in that, and whatever this objective universe can give me, temporarily, be it so. Let me enjoy it, but all the time being aware that I cannot expect lasting happiness out of that. That is what is said is here at asatyaha sarva samsaraha rasabhasadi dushitaha upekshyo brahma vigneyam. Samsaraha upekshaha, here it is. Don't add the upekshaha to Brahman. Okay, because when we read this, upeksha Brahma Vigneyam, when you say that upeksha Brahma means, that means ignore Brahman. No, that is the only thing which is worth knowing. Therefore, what he's saying, this asara samsara, nissara samsara, may you not be very much dependent on that, and may you upekshaha, just neglect and ignore it to a large extent. Okay, and the only thing worth knowing is this Brahman. May you know this Brahman alone. Iti Vedantadindimah. This is the proclamation of all Vedanta. Then, why is it that it is worth knowing only Brahman? He has already told. And in addition, in the 14th verse, he is going to talk about, it is not worth thinking too much, talking too much, depending too much on the world outside. So let us say what he says in the 14th verse. Vritha kriya vritha lapan vritha vadan manorathan tyaktyavam brahma vigneyam iti vedantadindimah. So he says, because this world is asaraha, this world is nissaraha. Therefore, vritha kriya, all the time involved in dabbling with the world outside, all the time doing something or the other in this world, all the time involved in this world, doing something in this world, involved in this world. May you not get into this. Vritha kriya. All the time I am doing and doing and doing, whether it's necessary or not. Do this, do that. Do this, do that. All the time doing something or the other. Is it really necessary? Is it really necessary spending all my time and energy and effort on all the time getting involved in this jagat? So, vritha kriyan tyaktva, vritha kriya. Vritha kriya means what is necessary, we'll do. Whatever is necessary, let us do it. There's nothing wrong in doing what is necessary. We have to. Because for this body mind sense complex to survive, there is no other way. I have to do action. I have to transact with this world. I cannot say that I am not going to transact with this world at all. It is not possible to say that. I have to be always involved. Lord Krishna only said, Kshanamapi jatuhu, even for a minute, a body mind sense complex cannot remain doing nothing. So, all the time, something or the other is going to be done because it is necessary. But then think, what is necessary? Is this really necessary to be done? Should I do this? Is it necessary to do this? Let us think clearly whether it is necessary to do whatever I am doing. If it is not necessary, let me not do what is not necessary. Let me not waste my time in doing unnecessary things which are only going to get me caught in karma, but are not going to do anything at all. We are ourselves, we have to find out every day in our lives how many things we do which are really necessary, how many do we do which are not really necessary. Most of the times we'll find that 90% of our actions are really not necessary for our survival on that particular day. For example, all the time watching the TV, all the time trying to get involved with some discussion or the other, all the time watching the mobile phone, watching the serials, watching the web series. These are all kriyas. Or just going out somewhere, talking to somebody, finding something to do. Is it really necessary? Of course, it doesn't mean that you should be a social recluse. It doesn't mean that you have to be sitting at home, not talking to anybody. Not. Let's do that. Let's be involved. Let us meet people. Let us be socially active. But let there be a limit for that. That's what is being said. Each one of us have to look at ourselves and see, look into our daily lives and decide whether how many of the actions that I'm doing every day are really worth doing. Can I do without some of these actions? This is something that each one of us have to look into ourselves. So he says, vritha kriya, vritha lapan, unnecessary talking. Unnecessary talking. We find that most of the times we are talking unnecessarily. It's not at all necessary. Either because somebody is there in front of me, or because I'm talking over the phone to somebody. What am I doing? Talking unnecessarily. What is necessary? What is needed? We talk and then keep quiet. That we don't do. We waste so much of our, the energy of our vak indriyam, so much, problems created to the mind running here and there on unnecessary things, talking and discussing about unnecessary things. Vritha lapan, vritha vadan, unnecessary arguments. Don't we do that? Unnecessary arguments all the time, arguing upon something They should not have done it. He should not have done it. Why did they do it? How did they do it? Arguing something about on which we have no control. Nothing wrong in knowing what is happening around me. I should know. To survive in this jagat, I should know what is happening around me. Fine. But is it necessary for me to go on arguing about it? We can see some people arguing, literally, they come to blows with each other, arguing upon some very different, which doesn't even involve them in any way. I have seen people discussing political events in such a way that literally they start fighting with each other, even coming to blows with each other. This is what is called as vritha vada, unnecessary vadas, unnecessarily thinking of what should be done, what should not be done. Is it there? Is it really necessary for me? Do I have any control over what is happening? And my vada, my winning a vada, or my losing a vada, does it really make any difference? Most of our vadas are vitanda vadas, unnecessarily trying to prove somebody else wrong. Those are our vadas. They are not really samvadas. Most of our talk, most of our discussions are vitanda vadas. You are saying something, so you are wrong. I am not saying it, therefore whatever you are saying is wrong. So he says here, Vritha vadan manorathan. Manorathan means daydreaming all the time, thinking of what is going to happen in future. Manorathan. Will this happen? Will that happen? When this happens, I'll do this. When that happens, I'll do this. Oh, why this happened? If this happens, what will I do? If that does not happen, what will I do? So manorathan. Manorathan means what? All the time thinking about, daydreaming about the future as to what is going to happen. So what happens in such things? Tattva ekam Brahma Vigneyam. All these things tyaktva, having given up vritha kriya, vritha lapa, vritha vadan, manorathan. Give up here means don't get involved too much in this. Whatever is necessary to be talked, whatever is necessary to be done, whatever is necessary to be thought over, whatever little bit of planning that is needed for my comfortable living for tomorrow or for whatever it is, let us do what is necessary. Don't get involved in unnecessarily increasing all these things, because all these are talking about anatma. All these are getting involved more and more in anatma. Vritha karma, getting more lost in world anatma. Vritha lapa, getting lost in the world of words where nothing is going to really matter to me. Vritha vadan, unnecessary argument about things around the world which are of no concern to me. Okay. And then manorathan, unnecessarily thinking, oh, what if this happens, what if this doesn't happen, what should I do, all these things. So what here the author is saying is, all these things are only going to make me more and more unhappy, more and more insecure, more and more, worrisome, anxious. Therefore, what he's saying is, please don't get involved in unnecessary anatma related transactions. What is necessary, let us do. When it is not necessary, let us withdraw our mind and sense organs and concentrate upon that which is going to release me from this samsara forever. And what is that? Ekam Brahma. Ekam Brahma. This one Brahman, or this one Atma Brahman, which, knowing which, I am going to really get out of my bondage of samsara. So Atmavid Shokam Tarati. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Tamevam ekam janatha atmanam anya vado vimunchatha. Okay, anya vacho vimunchatha. Anya vacho. Give up all other talk. That is what? Tam evam ekam janatam. You know, that one thing which is to be known, which is the source of permanent security, peace, and happiness. And what is that? Ekam atmanam janata anya vacho vimunchatha. Anyavacho means don't bother talking about anatma. It is not worth it. It is only bahulayasam. It's only unnecessary tiredness of my body, mind, vak indriyas. So therefore, ekam brahma vikneyam. May you try to focus all your energies on knowing this ekameva brahman, its swarupam, knowing that brahman to be ahameva. And what happens now? That is the one which releases me from samsara. Leave behind unnecessary involvement with anatma in the form of unnecessary action, unnecessary kriyas, unnecessary this vadas, and unnecessary rithalapa, unnecessary talking. May you give up. So now the next thing is, what is it that I'm supposed to know about Brahman? All this time we have been saying, I should know about Brahman. So let me ignore the world outside as much as possible, because whatever is needed, let me do. Rest of the things, rest of the time, whatever time and energy is available to me, let me focus on knowing this Brahman. What is it that I should know about Brahman? This is what is being said in the next few verses. So we'll go to the verse number 15. So he says, Sthito Brahmatmana Jivo Brahma Jivatmana Sthitam Iti Sampashyata Muktihi Iti Vedantadindimah. So what he says is, this is a Mahavakya. What is a Mahavakya? The one which talks about Jiva Brahma Ekatvam. That which talks about Jiva Ishvara Abhedam. That is what is called as the Mahavakya. And we have seen sample Mahavakyas. What are the sample Mahavakyas? Tattvamasi of Chandogyopanishad, which is the most common teaching Mahavakya. When the gurus are teaching, that is the way they say, Tat Brahma Tvam Asi. You, that consciousness, you, that Atma, behind this Vyashti body, mind, sense complex is nothing but that Brahman. That is what all the Upanishads say. And then I have to internalize the teaching as what? Ayam Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma. I have to internalize it. There are hundreds of Mahavakyas, thousands of Mahavakyas in Vedanta. But as a sample, we take 4 Mahavakyas as what I just mentioned. And this is also a Mahavakya. What is a Mahavakya? That particular sentence used in the Upanishads to tell me the abheda between me, the jiva, and Ishvara. Abheda, no difference between I, the Atma, and Brahman. That is what is called as the Mahavakya Vichara. And let's see what he says here. Sthito Brahmatmana Jivaha. Sthito Brahmatmana Jiva. The Jiva is nothing but Brahma Swarupa. The Jiva is that which is none other than the Brahma Swarupa. But then, why is it called Jiva then? Because this Brahman, from the point of view of this Vyashti Shariram, body, mind, and complex, because of my ignorance or avidya, is taken to be, different from the others. And because of my avidya, I take myself to be an individual conscious being, other than the others, different from others. So I am an individual jiva. And in this ajnanam or avidya, I have forgotten that I am that Brahma Swarupam Yeva. I am that Brahma Swarupam itself. I am not different. I, the Jiva, Brahma Swarupena Jiva itself exists. Brahman itself exists in the form of Jiva Swarupa. So, Stito Brahmatmana Jivaha. The Jiva is none other than Brahma Swarupa and the Brahma Jivatmana Sthitam. See, both ways he is telling. Both ways. That is, the Jiva is nothing but Brahma Swarupa. Brahman is nothing but Jiva. So it is an equation which holds good from both the sides. Jiva is nothing but Brahman. Brahman is nothing but Jiva. Therefore, Jiva is Brahman. Brahman is Jiva. From the point of view of the consciousness alone, that consciousness behind this body mind sense complex, which is the real me, is that Brahman. But then I think I'm a separate Jiva because I identify myself with this body mind sense complex, and I say that I am a Jiva. I'm an exalted Jiva. I'm a this particular Jiva. I have the name of this. Because of my entanglement with the body mind sense complex, that Brahman, which really I am, I have brought myself down to the level of Jiva. From Brahmatvam, I have fallen to Jivatvam. And who's responsible for it? I myself. In what way? That I have this ajnanam with which I am born. I am born with this ajnanam that I am a separate individual. I am a separate jiva. But then that ajnanam has to go if I have to be happy, if I have to have the security, peace, and happiness which I want, that distinction has to go. Therefore, all Vedanta, that is, all Upanishads say, Jiva is nothing but Brahma Swarupam. And what is Brahman? That is nothing but Jivatmana Sthitam. Brahman is nothing but the Jiva Swarupa. Jiva is nothing but that that nothing but that Brahma Swarupa. Therefore, iti sampashyatam muktihi. Those who see this clearly. When I see myself means what? When I understand myself as not a separate Jiva, but that very Brahman itself with an incidental body mind sense complex. I am not the limited consciousness. I am not the limited Jiva. I am that Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma Brahma with an incidental body mind sense complex. And because of my ignorance, because of my entanglement with this body mind sense complex, I am always looking at myself as a limited jiva. No. What is limited? The body mind sense complex is limited in space, time, and object. Desha parichinna, kala parichinna, vastu parichinna is this body mind sense complex. Whereas who am I, the Atma? I am the very Brahma Swarupa, which is Desha, Kala, Vastu, Aparichinnaha. I am that consciousness unlimited by Desha, by space, Kala, by time, Vastu or object. Desha, Kala, Vastu. Vastu means what? Any other object. See, this body mind sense complex is limited in place, in space, in time, and by other body mind sense complexes, isn't it? So something else limits me. But who am I really? I am that unlimited Deshakala Vastu Aparichinna Atma Brahma Ahamasmi. This is the Mahavakya. This is the knowledge that I must have about myself. Brahma Jnanam is this, Atma Jnanam is this. That means what? Brahman is not something which is remote somewhere else. Brahma asti is not, should not be my knowledge. That Brahma aham asmi is that knowledge which I am supposed to have. That is the one which frees me from all my bondage. And what is this knowledge called as? Samyak darshanam, it is called as the correct perspective. Bhagwan Krishna uses this samyak darshi all the time. Such a person who has this knowledge, jiva yeva brahma rupena sthitaha, brahma yeva jiva rupena sthitaha, iti, the one who has this knowledge is called as a sthita prajna, sthira prajna, and then, jnani. Okay, and he's called as the, the ultimate bhakta, jnani bhakta. And the one, this is the samyak darshanam, which is really moksha. What is moksha? Iti sampashyatam muktihi. This samyak darshanam, this clarity of vision, this clarity of understanding is really called as moksha. Muktihi iti sampashyata muktihi. When one sees oneself as that unlimited Brahman, and when one understands that that unlimited Brahman is none other than me, this samyak darshanam is the one which gives this person muktihi. The ones who have realized this, the ones who have understood this clearly, for them, they are totally free from this samsara. They are nitya shuddha mukta buddha atmas, consciousness, unlimited by kartritvam, unlimited by bhoktritvam, unlimited by the body, mind, sense complex. They are nothing but aham, atma, brahma, yeva, asmi. And therefore, it is said that this vision, this samyak darshanam, is the one which is called as mukti, which frees me from samsara. Now, the same thing is told in the next verse also for the sake of clear understanding. You see, all the Upanishads, many times repeats the same concept in different verses, in different words. We cannot call that a dosha. Many people say it is a punarukti dosha, repeating it again and again. But it's not a question of punarukti, because the same words or the same verses are not repeated. But the same concept is repeated in different words, in different shlokas, in different ways. Why? To make a person understand it clearly. That's why Bhagwan Shankaracharya, in all his bhashyas, says that the Upanishads will give you the same concept, the same truth, again and again and again, in different words, because of the subtlety of the subject and durvigneyatvam. It is not easy to understand because of the subtlety of the thing which we are knowing, which we are going to know, and also that subject which is difficult to understand, durvigneyatva, because it's something difficult to understand. Actually, it is not difficult to understand because we are looking at it from a different point of view. All this time we are used to looking at ourselves as body, mind, sense complex. We are not used to looking at ourselves as Atma Brahman. It is just that for millions of lives, we have taken ourselves to be the body, mind, sense complex. We have taken our body, mind, sense complexes to be the reality. We have taken the Jagat with its names and forms to be the reality. The way we are thinking in for so many, lives, millions of lives, is this. And therefore, it's not our fault. It is that avidya. And to get out of this kind of a habitual thinking, I need to do a lot of niddhidhyasana. So Brahma Jnanam is not really that difficult. It's only changing my paradigm of looking at myself as what I really am. But I'm used to looking at myself as what I'm not. And I don't know who I am. And when Vedanta tells me, look, you're not what you think you are something other than what you think you are, and you don't know what kind of what you are really, and you are struggling and suffering, but we are not able to see it because we are blinded by our own ignorance of habitual thinking patterns. Therefore, Brahma Asti is not the knowledge. Tat Brahma Ahamasmi iti Aparoksha Jnanam is the real knowledge. And that can happen only after enough of Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. And all these are nothing but Mahavakyas. And the next verse, the 16th verse also, is going to tell me the same thing, but in a little different word. Let's go to the 16th verse. Jivo brahmatmana jneyaha jneyam jivatmana param muktistadaika vijnanad iti vedantadindimaha. See, there's hardly any difference in the words also. Same concept. In the previous verse, in the 15th verse, it was said, Stito Brahmatmana Jivaha. But here he says, Jivo Brahmatmana Nyeyaha. Because in the previous verse, it is Sampashyatam Muktihi. Those who see this, they are free. So how do you see that? So he says here, Jivo Brahmatmana Nyeyaha. Jiva is to be known as Brahmatma. This Atma, I am Atma Brahma iti, I have to know it. Jivaha Brahmatmana Gneyaha Nyeyam Brahmatmana Param. Okay? Nyeyam Brahmatmana Jivatmana Param. Nyeyam Jivatmana Param. Jivo Brahmatmana Gneyaha Nyeyam Jivatmana Param. Nyeyam Jivatmana Param. May you know that this Jivatma is none other than Brahman. May you know that that Brahman which we are talking about all this time is none other than the Jiva. Muktihi tadaikya vijnanat. Tad aikya vijnanat eva muktihi. What is aikya vijnana? That is called as Aproksha darshanam, Aproksha anubhuti, Aproksha jnanam. What is Aproksha jnanam? Atma Brahma abhedam. So here he says, Muktihi tad aikya vijnanat. I don't see Jiva and Brahma as separate. I don't see Jiva and Ishvara as separate. So, Muktihi tadaikya vijnanat. Jiva Brahma aikya vijnanat yeva muktihi. That knowledge of Jiva Brahma ekatvam, which is called as Samyak Darshanam, is the only thing which gives me mukti. Previous verse, what did he say? Iti sampashyatam muktihi. Iti sampashyatam. That Jivatma eva Brahmatmana stita. Brahma eva Jivatmana stita iti sampashyatam muktihi. Same thing he is telling. What is mukti here? Tadaikya vijnanad eva muktihi. Tadaikya means what? Jiva Brahma Aikya Vijnanat Eva Muktihi iti Vedantadindimaha. This is the proclamation of all the Upanishads and Vedanta. And is this knowledge difficult to know? Really not. If there is enough preparation of the mind, if there is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, if there is enough of karma yoga, upasana yoga by which I have prepared this mind, if I am a jnana yogya, if I am a jnana yogya uttama adhikari, then it's not difficult. Why do I feel that it is difficult to know this knowledge? Number one, because I have to change my entire way of thinking and looking at it, number one. Secondly, this being a very subtle thing and changing my entire perspective is not that easy because my mind or intellect is not prepared for it. These are the two reasons. One thing is I'm habitually used to thinking of myself as the body, mind, sense complex. I'm habitually used to thinking that the body is Satyam, the world outside is Satyam. I'm habitually not used to knowing that there's something else other than this body. I don't know. Because by habit, that which is the real, I have completely hidden it. But that which is not real has become the reality for me. This is my habitual thinking. So, to change the habitual thinking is what takes time. Understanding that everything is Brahman is not difficult. Shravanam, Mananam, we have heard, we know, by now we know, Aham Brahmasmiti is very clear to us. But then it is Paroksha Jnanam. It has not yet become Aparoksha Jnanam. So what he says is, for those people who are prepared for this knowledge, those who are yogyas for this knowledge, it is not really difficult. Therefore, the actual difficulty is only preparing the mind, not the understanding. Understanding takes place in a matter of a second. It is a preparation of the intellect which takes lives together. Karma yogena chitta shuddhihi, upasana yogena chitta naishchalyam, and following various values like amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantihi, arjavam, all those 21 values which Lord Krishna gave in the 13th chapter, which mature my mind, the maturity of the mind. It is these things which take time. Developing the jnana yogyata prapti takes time. Developing sadhana chatushtaya sampatti takes time. Knowledge does not take time. That is why those who are fully prepared for this knowledge, in this life, getting this knowledge becomes very easy. Like Vamadeva got this knowledge in the Garbha only. We have, Satpurushas like Raman Maharishi, etc., who are fully prepared for this knowledge. They just needed to come into this particular body mind sense complex, where in the matter of a few, maybe the Guru's one word or one sentence, Shravana Matrena Muktihi, it is said. Sureshwaracharya, who is one of the Shishas of Acharya Shankara, says that Shravana Matrena Jnanam Muktihi. If I am prepared for this knowledge, Mananam is not necessary. Niddhidhyasanam is not necessary. Shravanam alone is enough. That's what he says. That means what? That I am so well prepared for this knowledge that Shravanam alone is enough for me. But what has happened in our case? We have done enough of Shravanam. We are doing enough of Mananam. But our minds are not prepared for this knowledge. Therefore, this knowledge remains in one corner of our brains, and my jivatvam remains in the all the other corners of my brain. Therefore, really, jiva, brahma, aikyam or ekatvam is not really difficult at all. That's what he's saying. It is not at all difficult. Anayasena labhyaha, he says. Okay, anayasena labhya. So he says, sarvatmatvat param brahma shroturatmataya sthitam nayastatva vignaptamiti vedantadindimaha na ayasatatyayasahatva vignaha aptimiti vedantadindimaha. So he says, sarvatmatvat param brahma shroturatmataya sthitam. If Brahman is sarva atma, if Brahman is the consciousness behind everything, then it is that consciousness behind this body mind sense complex also, isn't it? Brahman is sarvagatam, we have heard. Sarvagatam Brahma. Brahman is there everywhere. Then should that Brahman not be in this body mind sense complex also? So he says, sarvatmatvat param brahma sarvatmatvat. Brahman being the sarvatma, being the sarvagata atma, shroturatmataya sthitam. Brahman is nothing but the atma of the shrota also. The listener who is listening to the Guru, who is listening to the Shastra. The listener Atma is nothing other than Brahman. Okay? So, Na ayasaha tattva vigyaptam vigyaptihi iti Vedanta Dindimaha. So tattva vijnanam, knowing this knowledge, is not ayasaha, because I don't have to look for it anywhere. I don't have to go running after it that, oh, Brahman is there, so I have to go there and get it. That Brahman is Shroturatma. Vakta, for me, the Vakta who is speaking now, the Atma behind his Vakta is that Brahman. You are listening to me, that Atma, that consciousness behind you, the Shrota, is nothing but Brahman. If I look into myself, it is that Brahman. That consciousness behind every activity of mine is nothing other than Brahman. Where is the difficulty in understanding it? It's not difficult. But why is it seeming difficult to me? It is because I'm not used to looking at myself like that. There are these habitual thinking patterns which are exactly opposite to what really Vedanta is telling me. And what Vedanta is telling me is right. And the way I'm misunderstanding and looking at me in a different way is wrong. That means I have lived with the wrong perception for millions of lives. Just imagine where I am today. Wrong understanding, wrong perception. I have lived this life and all my other lives. I have lived with a wrong perception. So, na ayasaha tattva vigna vijnanam, tattva vijnanam is not actually ayasakaraha. It is actually very easy. I should be prepared to look at it the way Vedanta is telling me to look at it. Iti Vedantadindimah. This is what Vedanta is talking about, that, there is nothing other than this Brahman. That Atma, that consciousness behind you, the listener, behind me, the speaker, behind all of us, which is nothing but the Atma behind the seer, the listener. I said the whatever is there, that, okay, is nothing but Atma iti. I have to understand it. And to understand it, what is necessary? The preparation of the mind is necessary. Some things look difficult to us till we get the hang of it, isn't it? Even in our routine day to day life, we have seen that certain things are difficult not because they are really difficult, because we are not used to doing them. But when we start preparing ourselves for that, and once done, we say, what was so difficult about it? So easy. It's like learning to drive. Initially, when you learn to drive, it looks or you find it so difficult. But over a period of time, I start understanding that it happens automatically, reflexly, it happens. I know how to do it. I don't have to think about it. Similarly, Brahmajnanam or Atmajnanam is also like that. For an unprepared intellect, for a person who is not prepared for this knowledge, there is no jnana yogyata, there is no sadhana chatushtaya sampatti in such a person. And there is so much of, viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana means contradictory ideas about myself, which are false, but which I feel that they are true. For such people, actually, Brahmajnanam is difficult. But actually speaking, Brahmajnanam is, there is no ayasa. So there's nothing I have to go after. I have to just understand that that consciousness behind me, the listener, is nothing but this Sarvagatam Brahma. If Brahman is all pervasive, if Brahman is the consciousness that is there everywhere, all pervasive, then this consciousness behind this body, mind, sense complex also should be Brahman. What is so difficult to understand about it? So that is what is being told here, that it is na ayasaha. It is really not difficult to understand it. Only it requires the clarity. I have to be willing to see it. I have to keep aside my viparita bhavanas for some time, and I have to be willing to see what Vedas are trying to tell me. Okay. So next he says that the preparation he comes to. as to if really knowing Brahman, knowing Aham Brahmasmi is that easy, then what is it that is stopping me from knowing? What is it that 99% of us, we do not know who we are? Kaschid eka kaschid dhiraha. One among millions is the one who wants to know this and tries and understands this. But all of us remain totally unaware of this. Why? He says we are not prepared for this. So, what is the preparation that we must have for this knowledge? That is what is going to be told in the 18th verse. We will just read this verse, we may not be able to complete it. Aihikam chamushmikam cha tapantam karma sanchayam tyaktva brahmaiva vigneyam iti vedantadindimah. So, he wants to say here that any type of a karma or karma phala is not going to give moksha. Okay? Brahma jnanam yeva brahmaiva vigneyam iti vedantadindimah. Aihikam chamushmikam cha tapantam karmya sanchayam. All the karmas with their karma phalas are only going to lead to aihika, means in this sloka, amushmika means in the coming lives. It's only going to give rise to tapa, various tapas, adi daivika tapas, adi bhautika tapas, adhyatmika tapas. Okay? The only thing that karma, various kinds of karmas, not that we should not do karmas, we can't exist without doing karmas, but understand one thing, every karma phala that is accrued on every karma is nothing but that which gives me the three tapas. Okay? Tapantam, they're ultimately leading me to tapa. All the karma sanchayas, all the karmas with their karma phalas are only going to put me more and more into tapa. Aihikam cha amushmikam tapa. Tapantam, they only give rise to tapa or difficulties. We may feel that no, they are giving me happiness also, but short-lived happiness they may give me. Ultimately, I have to come back again and again and again into this cycle, which is nothing but tapa. Tyaktva, giving up karma. We'll see what giving up karma is. Giving up karma means not a karma. Okay, giving up karma means there is a indifferent way of understanding this. Brahma eva vigneyam. May you spend all your time in knowing Brahman rather than doing anything, expecting the karma phalas of your actions to free you from this samsara. So, with this, we will stop today's session. Nandantu sadhaka sarve vinashyantu vidushakaha avastha shambhavi mestu prasannostu gurus sada sarve bhavantu sukhinaha sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ तत्सत्.